All right, so get this.
Yeah.
Imagine like places on Earth where people live way past 100.
Mm-hmm.
But they're not just like barely making it, you know,
Yeah.
they're thriving.
Yeah.
We're talking gardening, dancing,
Oh.
and even like enjoying a glass of wine sometimes.
Wow.
So today we're diving deep into the research that you've brought about these blue zones.
Yes.
To try to figure out how they do it.
Okay.
So buckle up, because the answers may surprise you. It's not about like crazy diets or, you know, expensive treatments or anything like that.
Right.
It's something much more interesting.
It is really fascinating, isn't it? I
Yeah.
mean, these aren't like mythical places or anything.
Yeah.
They're real places that researchers have been studying for years to
Right.
like crack the code of living longer.
Yeah.
So we're talking about Ikaria in Greece,
Okay.
Sardinia in Italy,
Uh-huh.
Okinawa, which is in Japan,
Yeah.
Nicoya in Costa Rica,
Okay.
and even Loma Linda, California, right here in the U.S.
So 5 spots all over the globe.
Yeah.
But they've all got something in common.
They do.
They have a remarkably high number of people
Yeah.
who live well into their 90s and 100s.
Exactly.
And like the best part is that it's not just good genes.
Right.
You know, your research has shown that lifestyle choices actually play a huge role.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's where Dan Buettner and his team come in.
Okay.
They spent years with National Geographic
Wow.
studying these blue zones,
Okay.
and they came up with 9 common threads that they call the Power 9.
Okay.
It's kind of like a recipe for a longer, healthier life.
I love that.
Yeah.
Okay, so what are these magical Power 9 habits?
Okay, so the first one,
Okay.
it might sound simple, but it's really crucial.
Okay.
It's called move naturally.
Okay.
And we're not talking about like intense workouts or anything like that.
Gotcha.
It's about like weaving movement into your everyday life.
Okay.
Like, for example, the Sardinian shepherds who walk for miles across hilly terrain,
Yeah.
or the Okinawans who are always tending to their garden.
So ditch the elevator. Take the stairs.
Yeah,
Park farther away from the store.
exactly.
Maybe even, you know, get my hands dirty in the garden.
Yeah.
I can dig it.
Yeah.
What else is on this longevity checklist?
Okay, so next up is something called purpose.
Okay.
Sometimes the Okinawans call it Ikigai,
Okay.
and in Nicoya they call it Plan de Vida.
Interesting.
But basically it means having a reason to get out of bed in the morning,
Mhm.
something that really gives your life meaning.
I like that.
And again, the studies show that having a strong sense of purpose
Yeah.
could add up to 7 years to your life.
7 years.
Yeah.
So I'm officially on a mission to find my Ikigai,
Yeah.
but that's incredible.
It is pretty amazing.
Yeah, what comes after purpose?
Okay, so let's be real.
Yeah.
Even people in blue zones get stressed.
Right.
But they've got this knack for managing it. They call it downshifting.
Okay.
Think about the Okinawans taking time to remember their ancestors,
Mhm.
the Adventists praying, the Ikarians taking their afternoon naps,
Oh, yeah.
or the Sardinians enjoying a happy hour with their friends.
I like the sound of stress relief through naps and happy hour.
Right.
But you're right. We all need healthy ways to unwind and de-stress.
Yeah.
So what's the next secret?
All right, get ready for this one.
Okay.
It's all about mindful eating.
Okay.
The Okinawans call it Hara Hachi Bu,
Hara Hachi Bu.
which means eating until you're about 80% full.
Okay.
It's not about deprivation or anything like that.
Okay.
It's about tuning into your body's cues
Yeah.
and stopping before you feel stuffed.
So no more mindless munching in front of the TV, huh?
Exactly.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
What's next?
Okay, this one's all about what you put on your plate.
All right.
Blue zones tend to have a plant slant to their diets.
Plant Slant.
Yeah, so that means they load up on fruits,
Okay.
veggies,
Yeah.
beans,
Uh-huh.
and whole grains.
Okay.
And they eat meat sparingly, mostly small portions of pork, about 5 times a month.
So it's not about being a strict vegetarian.
Right.
It's about making plants like the star of the show.
Exactly.
I'm sensing a theme here.
Yeah.
It's all about balance and moderation.
It is.
All right, what else is on the list?
Okay, you might like this one.
Okay.
Wine at 5.
Wait a minute.
Yes, you heard that right.
Wine is part of the longevity plan.
It is.
All right, I need details.
Okay, so moderate red wine consumption,
Okay.
especially with friends and a good meal, is something they really enjoy in the blue zones.
Okay.
Particularly in Sardinia,
Okay.
with their high antioxidant Cannonau wine.
Hold on. Wine is good for you.
Well, moderate red wine consumption has been linked to some health benefits,
Okay.
particularly when it comes to heart health.
Okay.
And Cannonau wine in particular is packed with antioxidants,
Mhm.
which can help protect your cells from damage.
Interesting. Okay, I'm adding Sardinia to my travel list,
Yeah.
purely for research purposes, of course.
Of course.
Sorry, what's the next piece of this Power 9 puzzle?
Okay, so it's all about connection.
Okay.
Belonging is a huge factor in the blue zones.
Mm-hmm.
Almost everyone they studied was part of a faith-based community.
Okay.
And research shows that attending faith-based services 4 times a month
Yeah.
could add anywhere from 4 to 14 years to your life expectancy.
Wow. That's a pretty compelling reason to find a community.
It is.
I mean, it's that sense of belonging and support that really makes a difference.
Absolutely. What's next?
Okay, family comes first in the blue zones.
Okay.
That's the 8th principle, loved ones first.
Okay.
And it really highlights the importance of those close family ties.
Mm-hmm.
Think multi-generational households,
Yeah.
strong bonds between siblings,
Okay.
putting family above all else.
Yeah.
And the benefits are lower rates of disease and better well-being
Wow.
for everyone young and old.
It makes you realize how important those connections are,
Yeah.
not just for our emotional health, but for our physical health, too.
Exactly.
All right, we're down to the last one.
We are?
Drum roll, please. Last but not least, we have right tribe. That's all about who you surround yourself with.
Mm-hmm.
If your friends and social circle support those healthy habits,
Yeah,
you're more likely to adopt them yourself.
that makes sense. We've all heard that saying.
Yeah.
You're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with or whatever.
Right?
Yeah. So choose your tribe wisely, folks.
Exactly.
Speaking of tribes, is there like a standout example of this right tribe idea from the blue zones?
Absolutely. The
Okay.
Okinawans have these amazing groups called moais.
Moais.
Yeah, there's groups of 5 friends who are committed to each other for life.
Wow.
And they provide support, companionship, and accountability.
That's amazing.
Yeah, helping each other stay on track with those healthy habits.
I love that.
Yeah,
Friends supporting each other for life.
exactly.
Like a built-in support system.
It is.
Okay, so we've covered these 9 incredible Power 9 principles.
We have.
But what I'm really curious about now is how they play out in real life.
Yep.
What makes each of these blue zones unique?
Okay,
What can we learn from their individual stories?
that's a great question.
Yeah,
And that's where things get really interesting.
okay.
Each blue zone has its own distinct culture,
Mhm.
traditions, and
Yeah.
environment that contribute to its longevity success story.
Perfect.
Nerd.
Let's dive into those individual stories, starting with Sardinia.
Okay.
What makes this Italian island a blue zone?
Okay, well, picture this.
Okay.
Sardinia is mountainous,
Okay.
with shepherds who walk for miles every day tending to their flocks.
Hmm.
That built-in physical activity definitely contributes to their longevity.
Right.
Plus, remember that Cananao wine we talked about?
Yeah.
They enjoy it regularly, but always in moderation
Okay.
and as part of a social gathering.
It's amazing how their environment and traditions like naturally promote healthy habits.
It is.
What about Okinawa?
Okay.
What makes their approach to longevity so special?
Okinawa is a fascinating case study. They've got the moais for social support. Great.
The Hara Hachi Bu principle for mindful eating
Mm-hmm.
and a deep respect for elders and family ties,
Okay.
that contributes to their overall well-being.
Yeah.
Plus, they've got this concept of Ikigai, that sense of purpose we talked about,
Yeah.
really woven into their culture.
It's like all these elements work together
Yeah,
to create this incredible recipe for a long and healthy life.
they do.
What about Loma Linda, California?
Okay.
What makes this American blue zone stand out?
Loma Linda is unique because it centers around a community of Seventh-day Adventists.
Okay.
They follow a vegetarian diet,
Mm-hmm.
have strong community bonds,
Yeah.
and observe the Sabbath,
Okay.
which gives them a regular period of rest and rejuvenation.
It's inspiring to see a blue zone thriving right here in the U.S.
It is.
You know, it's showing that these principles can be adapted to different cultures and lifestyles.
Yeah.
Now, tell me about Nicoya, Costa Rica.
Okay.
What are their secrets to a long life?
Nicoya is known for Plan de Vida.
Which, like Ikigai, emphasizes having a reason to live.
Yeah.
They also stay active well into their older years
Mm-hmm.
and have a diet rich in beans, corn tortillas,
Yeah.
and something pretty unique, calcium-rich water.
Calcium-rich water.
Yeah.
I've never even heard of that,
It's interesting.
but it makes sense. Strong bones are crucial for a long and healthy life.
Absolutely.
Okay, last but not least, tell me about Ikaria, Greece.
Okay.
What makes this island so special?
Ikaria embodies that relaxed Mediterranean lifestyle
Okay.
we often hear about.
Yeah.
They eat a traditional Mediterranean diet
Okay.
filled with fresh fruits, vegetables, and olive oil.
Wow.
Plus, they're big fans of those afternoon naps.
Yes.
and a generally slower pace of life.
Sounds idyllic.
Yeah.
So we've got the Power 9 principles
Right.
and a glimpse into the unique cultures of each blue zone.
Yeah.
But here's a question that's been brewing in my mind.
Okay.
Is it all about individual choices, or do these blue zones have something else going for them? Something in their environment, perhaps?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
And it leads us to a really crucial aspect of the blue zones phenomenon,
Okay.
the impact of our surroundings.
Hmm.
It's not just about willpower.
Yeah.
It's about the nudges and cues we get from our environment.
So our environment can influence our choices without us even realizing it.
Absolutely.
Tell me more about that.
Okay, well, think about it this way.
Okay.
You're much more likely to take the stairs if they're bright, inviting, and conveniently located.
Yeah, that's true.
That's environmental design at work.
Okay.
And that's precisely what the Blue Zones Project, inspired by Dan Buettner's research, is all about shaping environments to make healthy choices the easy choices.
The Blue Zones Project, this sounds promising.
Yeah.
Tell me more about their approach. What kind of impact have they had?
Well, the Blue Zones Project starts by focusing on your life radius.
Okay.
That 5-mile radius around your home, where you spend most of your time.
Okay.
They work with communities to implement design trees and policies that nudge people toward healthier choices.
So it's about making healthy choices accessible and convenient.
Exactly.
What are some examples of those environmental nudges?
They've come up with some really creative strategies. Imagine standing desks at work.
Yeah.
Healthy checkout aisles in grocery stores where you see fruits and nuts instead of candy bars.
Right.
Safe walking paths that encourage people to get out and move. And even programs that help people form Moai-like social groups.
I love that they're weaving these changes into the fabric of everyday life.
Yeah.
It's like setting people up for success without them even realizing it.
It is.
Have there been any real-world success stories with the Blue Zones Project?
Definitely.
Okay.
One of the most inspiring stories is Albert Lea, Minnesota.
Albert Lea, Minnesota.
Yeah.
Tell me everything what happened there.
They took these principles to heart and made some key changes. Life expectancy increased by 3.2 years.
Wow.
The community lost a combined 7,280 pounds.
That's incredible.
And healthcare costs dropped by a whopping 40%.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
It proves that these Blue Zone ideas aren't just theories.
Right.
They can actually make a real difference in people's lives.
They can.
It's not just about individual willpower.
Right.
It's about creating an environment that supports well-being.
Exactly.
And the success of Albert Lea has led to the expansion of the Blue Zones Project.
It has.
They've taken their approach to larger cities, like those in the beach cities of Los Angeles.
Yeah.
And they're seeing similar positive results.
They are.
This is so encouraging.
Yeah.
It shows that these Blue Zone principles aren't just for small, remote communities.
Right.
They can work in urban environments too.
They can.
It's time we started rethinking how our cities and towns are designed to prioritize health and well-being.
Absolutely. And there's also a powerful tool that individuals can use to apply these Blue Zone secrets to their own lives. The Vitality Compass.
The Vitality Compass, now that sounds intriguing.
Yeah.
What's that all about?
It's an online assessment based on the Power 9 principles.
Okay.
Developed by Dan Buettner and the University of Minnesota Public Health Department.
Wow.
You answer questions about your lifestyle.
Okay.
And it calculates things like your biological age,
Interesting.
your overall life expectancy, and the years you're gaining or losing based on your habits.
So it's like a personalized roadmap to longevity.
Exactly.
That's incredible. I'm definitely going to check out the Vitality Compass.
Yeah, it's a great tool.
I'm curious to see where I stand and what it can do to optimize my own life radius.
Yeah, it's a great tool for self-reflection.
Yeah.
And taking those first steps towards incorporating these Blue Zone secrets into your life.
I love how this deep dive is going beyond just uncovering the secrets of longevity. It's giving us like practical ways to apply those principles in our own lives.
It is.
It's empowering to know that we have more control over our health and lifespan than we might think.
We do.
Well said. This has been an incredible journey.
It has.
Exploring the Blue Zones and their secrets to longevity.
Yeah.
But I feel like we've only scratched the surface.
We have.
There's so much more to uncover and learn from these remarkable communities.
Absolutely.
That brings us to like the most important part of our deep dive today.
Okay.
What can you, the listener, take away from all this? How can you apply these insights to your own life?
Right.
That's the million-dollar question.
It is.
But before we get into the nitty-gritty of putting these principles into action, let's take a quick pause.
Okay.
We'll be right back to wrap up our deep dive into this fascinating world of blue zones.
Sounds good.
Okay, so we're back
We are.
and ready to dive into the practical side of things. You know, we've uncovered these amazing blue zone secrets.
Yeah.
But now, like, how do we actually apply them to our own lives?
Right.
I'll admit it can feel a little overwhelming.
I get it. It's easy to feel like you need to transform your whole life overnight.
Right.
But the key is to start small.
Okay.
Pick like 1 or 2 of the Power 9 principles
Yeah.
that really resonate with you and just focus on incorporating those into your daily routine.
Okay, so no need to go from couch potato to marathon runner in a day.
No, not at all.
That's a relief. But how do we choose where to start?
Okay.
What are like some baby steps our listeners can take today?
Think about your life radius,
Okay.
that 5-mile zone around your home
Yeah.
where you spend most of your time.
Okay.
Are there any like simple changes you can make in your home or workplace to encourage more movement?
Okay.
Could you swap out the sugary snacks
Yeah.
for a bowl of fruit?
Those are great ideas.
Yeah,
It's about like setting up our environment for success, right?
exactly.
And what about social connections? You know, we've heard a lot about the importance of community in the blue zones.
Right,
Any tips on how to find our right tribe?
absolutely. So start by nurturing the relationships you already have.
Okay.
Make an effort to connect with friends and family who
Yeah.
support your well-being goals, and don't be afraid to branch out.
Right.
Join a book club, a hiking group volunteer at a local organization.
Yeah.
Anything that brings you together with people who share your interests.
That's a great reminder.
Yeah,
We often underestimate the power of our social circles,
we do.
you know, in shaping our habits and overall well-being.
Right.
It's like having a built-in cheer squad for a longer, healthier life.
Exactly.
Speaking of healthy habits, let's talk about diet.
Okay.
Plant-based eating seems to be like a cornerstone of the blue zone lifestyle.
Yeah.
But going full vegetarian or vegan can feel really daunting for some people.
You're right. It doesn't have to be all or nothing.
Okay.
But remember the Plant Slant principle?
Yeah.
Start by gradually adding more fruits.
Beans and whole grains to your meals.
Okay.
Maybe try a meatless Monday once a week,
Yeah.
Or explore some new plant-based recipes.
I like that.
Little by little, those changes add up.
I love that approach.
Yeah,
It's about finding what works for you and making sustainable changes.
exact.
Now, I can't resist asking about this wine at 5 rule.
Yeah.
Is that really a thing?
It is.
Okay.
But remember, it's all about moderation.
Right.
Research suggests that the benefits
Yeah.
are linked to moderate red wine consumption, ideally enjoyed in a social setting,
Okay.
with friends, and a delicious meal.
So it's not an excuse to go overboard.
No, not at all.
Okay, so we've covered movement, social connections, diet.
Right.
What about stress management?
Okay.
You know, those blue zone folks seem to have a knack
Yeah,
for slowing down and embracing a more relaxed pace of life.
they do. They've got those downshift rituals down to a science.
Right.
Think about incorporating some of those into your daily routine.
It could be as simple as taking a few minutes each day for deep breathing, meditation, or a walk in nature.
Those are all good ideas.
And don't forget the power of naps.
Oh, yes.
Even a short 20-minute power nap
I'm all about those power naps.
can do wonders for your stress levels and energy.
Definitely adding that to my longevity toolkit.
Okay.
Before we wrap up, I want to circle back to purpose, or Ikigai.
Okay.
It seems to play such a powerful role in the blue zones.
It does.
Any advice on how we can find our own Ikigai?
That's a beautiful question.
Yeah.
And it's a very personal journey.
Okay.
It's about reflecting on what truly brings you joy, what makes you feel alive and engaged,
Yeah,
and how you can use your unique talents to make a difference in the world.
I like that.
It could be something you're already passionate about,
Yeah.
or it might be something you discover through exploring new things.
Exactly.
It might take some time and experimentation.
Right. But the journey of discovering our Ikigai can be just as rewarding as the destination itself.
Absolutely.
I love that.
Yeah.
It's about embracing a growth mindset and approaching life with a sense of adventure.
Exactly.
So we've covered a lot of ground in this deep dive.
we have
We've explored the Power 9,
right.
delved into this fascinating world of blue zones,
Yeah.
and uncovered some practical tips for applying these secrets to our own lives.
We have. It's been a really enriching exploration.
It has.
And I hope our listener is feeling inspired to start their own longevity journey.
Me too. But before we say goodbye,
Okay.
I want to hear your final takeaway.
Okay.
What's like the one message you want our listener to remember from this deep dive into the blue zones?
I think the most important takeaway is that longevity isn't about some far-off secret or miracle cure or anything like that.
Right.
It's about the choices we make every day, the habits we cultivate.
And the environments we create for ourselves.
Yeah.
It's about a holistic approach to well-being that encompasses physical health,
Right.
social connections, purpose and joy.
I like that.
And the best part is it's never too late to start making those positive changes.
Such a powerful and hopeful message.
It is.
It's a reminder that we have more control over our health and lifespan than we might think.
We do. And remember, even small changes can make a big difference.
That's true.
You don't have to move to a blue zone
Right.
to reap the benefits of their wisdom.
Yeah.
You can create your own blue zone right where you are.
I love that, creating our own blue zones. What a beautiful thought.
It is a good thought.
But before we send our listener off to create their own longevity oasis,
Okay.
there's one more question I have to ask, Carl. We've talked about the Power 9,
Right.
but are there any potential downsides to focusing too much on one principle at the expense of others?
Okay.
Could there be a point of diminishing returns?
That's a really insightful question.
Yeah.
And you're right. It's important to approach the Power 9 with a sense of balance and moderation.
Okay.
For example, if someone becomes so obsessed with move naturally
Right.
that they neglect their social connections or their sense of purpose,
Yeah.
that could actually have a negative impact on their overall well-being.
That makes sense. It's about finding that sweet spot where all of the principles work together in harmony.
Exactly. And it's also important to remember that these principles are guidelines,
Okay.
not rigid rules. What works for one person might not work for another.
Right.
It's all about finding what fits your individual needs and lifestyle.
That's a great reminder. We all have our own unique journeys to navigate.
Yeah. It's amazing how much we can learn from these blue zone communities.
It is.
And how we can adapt their wisdom to our own lives.
Absolutely.
So as we're wrapping up our deep dive into the blue zones,
Yeah.
I'm left with this feeling of possibility.
It's not about finding some magical fountain of youth or anything.
Right.
It's about making, conscious choices that nourish our bodies, minds and spirits.
Absolutely. It's about creating a lifestyle that supports well-being in all its dimensions.
And it's about recognizing that those choices are influenced not just by our individual willpower,
Right.
but also by the environments we create for ourselves and the communities we surround ourselves with.
Exactly. We're all interconnected. Our health and well-being are intertwined with those around us.
So as we navigate our own life radii, it's worth asking ourselves, what kind of environment are we creating?
Right.
Are we surrounding ourselves with people who uplift and support us?
Yeah.
Are we making choices that align with our values and contribute to a sense of purpose?
Those are powerful questions to ponder.
They are.
And they lead us to a final thought-provoking question
Okay.
that I'd like to leave our listener with today.
Okay, I'm ready. What's the big question?
If you could design your ideal blue zone,
Okay.
what would it look like? What elements would you incorporate to create a community that truly supports longevity, well-being, and a deep sense of connection?
That's a fantastic question.
Yeah.
It's an invitation to not just learn from the existing blue zones,
Right.
but to imagine and create our own versions,
Exactly.
tailored to our own unique needs and aspirations.
Precisely. It's about taking these principles of longevity and weaving them into the fabric of our lives and communities.
Yeah.
It's about creating a world where living longer, healthier, and happier becomes not just a possibility, but a reality.
Well said. It's been a true pleasure exploring the world blue zones with you today.
Likewise.
And to our listener, thank you for joining us on this deep dive.
Yeah.
We hope you've walked away with a renewed sense of inspiration and empowerment
Yeah.
to create your own blueprint for a long, healthy, and fulfilling life.
Absolutely.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning,
Yes.
and keep diving deep into the fascinating world around us.
Great advice.